to the Selfish Podcast. I am your host, Luke Greenheart, and this podcast is going to cover everything self-love, self-care, and overall self-development. I will be talking about my own personal experiences and perspective, as well as interviewing guests on their journey, their life, and their personal experience. Stay tuned, enjoy the show. I appreciate you being here. Welcome to the Selfish Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Ron Smoorenburg, and I apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly, but this is an action movie star, a self-made man, and with over 70 credits on Internet Movie Database and a recognizable name, and someone that's going to be even more influential and more recognizable in the years to come. And I truly appreciate him for being here. I'd like to welcome him, and I'd like to start by getting to know him and getting to know himself and his path, his life. And we're going to start with the early years. Can you tell me, Ron, a little bit about your childhood prior to being 10 years old, where you grew up, what your family was like, what your life was like?
Okay, first of all, hi everyone. Welcome to the podcast as well, of course. I'm coming from a small town in Holland. It's a very small town. I had a great youth. I have lovely parents. I'm raised with a lot of love and always like this kind of positivity and excitement from my parents. Like you can do it. So something like that.
Oh, great.
Now, the interesting thing is we had a few family members which were rebels. And those people, the rebels, actually made it bigger than the people who followed society, basically. So, for example, my uncle, he was an outcast. He never followed school. And he became a pianist. And he just followed what he was good at. So those family members were my example. And I was always a little bit skinny and insecure when I was young. And then at a certain time, then there was Karate Kid in a birthday party of a friend. And that changed my life. I got so much energy from that. Like this underdog, this kid who by martial arts started to help himself, to get confident. To develop in a very cool way. I was like 11 and everybody wanted to do karate, but it was a weird time because that time there was the Master on TV, this ninja series. There was Jackie Chan with the Young Master, another one, also the Master, but Young Master. And it was such a good fight. And it all came in the same time. So I'm very fortunate. I'm coming from a good period, like the 80s. 80s, 90s, and
having them really positive influences in your life. How did that impact you? How was your school life, and what was like your earliest struggles in life at that age?
Well, I didn't have struggles with school or so, but for me, I always have to do a lot to learn. I have to do double as other people like to learn. So some friends were just, they just learn for 1 hour per day and they play outside. I had to learn like 2 hours or 3. And the same with martial arts. I had to do so much to get really good. And I loved the challenge.
Where did you go to learn martial arts? Did you just practice at home at first, or did you look for a school?
Yes, I looked for a school, and my teacher looked exactly like the Master of Karate Kid. Okay. So there was all this mystery. And we had the library with all the books about karate and these drawings. But we didn't know, I didn't have the videos like YouTube right now. So we had those drawings, and I just started to do some moves according to the drawings. But it was not always right. But, it is a mystery. And it's always a kind of mystery. That's the great thing of the real martial arts. I don't talk about MMA. I talk about martial arts from the East.
And for me, like martial arts was a big impact on my life, but more on the philosophical, say the word, but it was more on the understanding, the principles. Like for me, I was, my childhood was really traumatic and really stressful. When I found out about like Bruce Lee and stuff, his influence was incredible. And it was much more about, you say like marshalling the art of expression of yourself and being in control of yourself. And this influenced me to make so many different decisions that were positive for myself, and not to follow, like you said, not to follow the crowd.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah, in martial arts, exactly. We are not crowd followers,
Mm,
right? We can be very strong on our own in most of the cases. I think that's a very good thing to not be dependent of emotions of only others, and also can we can find, I always say, we can find ourselves in martial arts, and the love of the art always survives. That's what I literally say,
yeah.
always.
You can keep the passion going. And I also found the more I studied different techniques of fighting combined with the understanding of discipline, I got into less fights. I got into less physical trouble. But I hear lots of people, if
Yeah.
they go to learn martial arts, they're going to get into fights. How was that with your childhood? Did you have many fights?
Not at all. I just had a few, but mostly it was to protect my friends.
Yeah,
um
yeah, the same.
it was like that. Like, I said, come on, like, don't do this with my friend. And then they want to challenge me, and I had one guy. He was a kickbox champion, but I
Mhm.
was lucky. I was okay with the kick, so I kicked off his hat, his cap, like bam, like the first second. So you kind of surprise them a little bit.
So from the
uh
beginning, your kicks were your strongest, because from what I've seen of
yeah.
your work and your action, it's your kicks are incredible and the control and movement of your legs. So that's something you developed very early.
ah well, because of my sister, because she said, Ron, you're very stiff, and I'm going to teach you the splits. And so she taught me the splits, like the side splits, and then Van Damme came as well. Like, there was
Hmm.
Bloodsport and all these movies, leg holding, and it was so inspiring. It hurts, of course. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
literally screaming the pain from pain with a Sony Walkman on my head, like a Sony, like music, and
yeah,
just try to. Like the last 10 centimeters are the hardest for the splits. Like to go like that. That is the last 10 centimeters. That is the toughest for me, and we
and,
overcame.
and how often did you train when you was young? How often did you go to the school, and
Oh,
how often did you train on your own at home? And
well, of course, I had never really skipped school, but once I was home, I was training, and my parents even said, Ron, you're going to get a heart attack. This is not normal. I said, yeah, but I just love it, and I love the movies, and one day I'm going to play an action movie, and everybody were laughing, like, but I had to sacrifice something. For me, it was not a sacrifice because I didn't suffer not doing it. But people always went to parties in the weekend. So they
Mhm.
asked me every week, Ron, what about next weekend? I said, maybe. But I never went. I
Yeah,
never went to discos or parties. Like, for me, it was
it's
not a sacrifice. I didn't need it.
yeah, I had again similar experiences that I was like, I would rather work on myself, and I just had passion for moving and using my body, and like I said, the discipline was to be able to have
Yeah.
the self-control was a real thirst and a hunger for me. Did you?
Yeah. 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 Maybe I was too aware. Like when you go
Mm,
to a disco, I maybe went 3 times in my whole youth or something. Maybe I was too aware. I saw it more like a market, like a dating market or something. I don't.
yeah,
Maybe I was too serious for it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, I
And
can
I
relate to
didn't
that.
look bad at all, but I could never get any girl. Like I was just not into it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe that
you,
was a good thing, not to get hooked to girls, because I know people who gave up their dream because of their first girlfriends. That is
yes,
a problem.
you will meet many people in the class in the martial arts boxing, and they're really consistent. Then they meet a girl, and suddenly they're
Yep.
missing
Yeah.
more, missing more, missing, and then they just disappear.
Yeah, I had it
You
with my
meet.
students. I could predict it. They get a girlfriend. Once the girlfriend is coming to watch the class, right? The first week,
Mhm.
the second week, the guy will not show up. And so always when you introduce a girl, the
You
next
say
week they're not
goodbye to the
coming
student.
already. Basically, it's like that. Yeah, yeah. And that is some kind of, I don't know. I not make it up. It's a kind of, you just see it multiple
Yeah,
times. Then you make your own kind of theory, and that's also with people in the movie business about jealous people, about people you encounter. There are certain patterns which,
yeah, and
after
you see the
many
cycles.
occasions, you can make your theory about it.
Yeah. And you said when you was a child, you wanted to be an action movie star. Was this your first like aspiration of what you wanted to be when you grew up, or did you have
Yeah.
earlier ideas?
No, no, it was more after seeing Van Damme, and I had this friend. He had so much fantasy. He basically lied about everything.
Mhm.
So when he goes to the barber, he said he go to the butcher. Like he doesn't even need to lie about it. But because
Yeah.
his fantasy, he was bragging about me to all his friends. He said, this Ron guy, he's gonna be a movie star. And somehow it got into my head. Like, yeah, I can do it. Why not? And he said he's gonna be the next Van Damme and this and that, and his kicks are good. And so I was like fighting with that movie style in tournaments.
Mhm.
And we were making like movie fights on music, like demos, and we were actually already living it just like a fantasy life when we were kids, like, and that we just grew up and keep doing the same. Basically, that's what it
Yeah.
is. We never stop, basically. and
Yeah.
and that is hard when adults lose their childhood passion. It's so sad to see that, right?
Yes, and you can see it. It's very clear when
You
you
can
are
see
still
it.
following
Yeah,
yours.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like you say, it's to have the perseverance to keep going. And I think part of the martial arts to keep fighting, to keep you never get knocked out.
yeah.
You get up every time. Always you have to get back up and keep going. And I think this helped me.
Oh, that's it. And my teachers were vicious. Like they were like they never gave up on us too. Like sometimes they were sparring with us, and it was hard. Like they some the first lesson of my free fight class after karate, I did free fight. The teachers gave me a good lesson, basically beat
Hmm.
me up, and they thought I never would never come back.
Yeah.
And it was so tough. But yeah, that was the challenge, right? And to overcome this will bring you not only to martial art, but also to when you have hardships in work or relationships, like this thing that you never give up, right? That
Yeah.
is something like I hold on to that
Yeah. Because
with
I talked to
everything.
lots. Yeah, I talked to
Mhm.
lots of people about the philosophy, about the mind, and about structure. But so many people are missing the physical element of discipline, of using the body and the mind, and bringing this into
Yeah,
like a balance and harmony. And I think traditional martial arts, good martial arts, is all about this. It's all about balance of
yeah,
the mind and body,
balance.
and
Yeah.
having that at a like I say at a good balance, so you
Mm.
can live it more in more harmony and more joy. And like I say, and then when you get knocked, you get that balance back, and you keep fighting, you keep moving forward, you keep living, looking for the next journey, the next challenge. Y-
I totally agree. Yeah, and in balance, being in balance is that's what it is. That and even after failures or stuff, it's I accept it. I see it as part of the journey, right?
Yeah,
Like it's just part of it, and it might even give me more balance sometimes.
yeah,
Like it's just a confirmation, like it's part of it. Like a sparring partner of life is
yeah,
also a
exactly,
failure.
perfect. Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah,
I
and
try to,
yeah, uh-huh,
when I speak to some people, I share with people like some of the hardest, biggest moments in my life that were the most traumatic. But it took
hmm
me later in life to see that they were some of the biggest gifts in my life to make me who I am now, and I appreciate who I am now. No, I'm not in the
yeah.
past. So what was like one of your, and you can be as personal as you want. What was
Mhm.
something that you say at the time you really struggled with? It was really painful. It's like a trauma, but now you look back and you can see it's actually a gift.
Yeah, okay. Well, I had this thing with Jackie Chan that
Mhm.
I my dream came true, basically. So I fought Jackie Chan, and that moment when that happened, I lost a lot of things on the other side. So my best friend got really jealous. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my job. The stuntman wanted to steal my job. But the fight was great. So it there's always a kind of I found out there's always a kind of sacrifice on the other side when some good things come,
Yeah, and
and that was a
that
big one.
that
Yeah,
one scene I remember. Like I haven't watched the film Who Am I in
yeah.
many years, but I remember your scene so clearly. Like it's just it's stuck in my mind so much because just the leg raise, you're just holding your leg there, that's
Yeah,
stuck, and just the movement of the legs, and it's just like
yeah.
I've watched other
And that
Jackie Chan films, and you're like, oh my God, he's got a real challenge.
well, that was so much dedication in my childhood to hold the leg. And so people always say, oh, you're just lucky and this, but there's so many things behind it, like times and hours and hours
Yeah,
of training. And not that I don't like it. I loved it. This is not
yeah,
like suffering. This is just something great, right?
yeah,
If you do what you really
yes,
love. This is not suffering. Pain. This pain of training is just great.
Yeah,
It's not
there's no
suffering.
growth without some resistance, and sometimes
Yeah.
suffering, the resistance can feel like a suffering, but it's
Yes.
actually a growth, a
It's a
development, a
growth.
progress.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
after this Jackie Chan fight, I supposed to go to Hollywood. I had a manager. I had even they wanted me for the Matrix to be the double of Keanu Reeves. But then
Mm.
there was this documentary behind the scenes that it was hard for me to catch up with Jackie Chan and this and this. And of course, it was my first movie ever, right?
Yep.
So, but this kind of documentary is always used against me because I was just not lucky that they shot this documentary that moment. They said
Yeah.
if it was another actor, it would he would be the victim. But
Yeah, because
so
a
that kind of
documentary has to.
haunted me.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
documentary is the same as a movie. It has to have a story. It has to have drama. It has to
Yep.
have the villain. So someone has to take the fall.
I took the
Mm.
fall, and I can admit that. And it is a little bit to look the Jackie Chan team look good.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit like the guy who didn't know this and this, but of course it is the first movie. But they could have also said that I picked up the fight, like like I picked up on it and I learned and
Mm.
I actually did it. So it's actually a beautiful story, but people who are jealous use this against me. Like there's a needle
Yeah.
in your body and they just twist it. Like,
Yeah.
you remember? And 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 that is people dealing with people is harder than the art itself. So that
Yeah.
is my kind of conclusion. It's all about dealing with people and
Yeah. And
how to
how do
handle.
you
Yeah.
reflect now? How has it made you develop as yourself now? Like, what strengths has it given you? What gifts did you get from that
Yeah.
drama?
Okay. This is very interesting because this both first of all kept my both legs on the floor, so I never got spoiled in the business. Like, okay, now I fought Jackie Chan, now I'm a superstar or something. No,
Hmm.
I got humbled. I was already humble anyway. My parents are very humble. We are raised like that, right? We appreciate
Mm.
small things. We were never rich. Even going to the beach
Yeah.
on minimal gas, right? We did it. We did it. And we enjoyed it even more. So that was okay. Um, but yeah, so I learned that I came from the underdog position. So I was a little bit ridiculed even. And the normal people don't know that, but by the stunt people and oh, this guy and he couldn't really do it. And so I was like, okay, I want to fight every movie star possible to never let
Yeah.
this happen again. And I kind of did that. Like I fought with Scott Atkins, with Van Damme, with
Hmm.
Tony Jaa, worked with Donnie, Gary Daniels, like a lot of people
Who's
just
left
to
on the
get
list?
experience. Okay. Well, Dolph Lundgren, I would love to fight.
Yeah.
He's not on the list. Mark Dacascos. I think
Hmm.
those two would be amazing if I can still do that. Of course,
Yeah,
Jet
I don't
Li
see why
would
not.
be hard.
You keep fighting, you keep going forwards, and there's no reason why it wouldn't
Yep.
manifest and happen.
Yes.
And
So
who
that was
cares
good.
if it, yeah.
Mhm.
And for me, I always tell someone like, even if I don't get it next year, I'm gonna keep going. Even if I get it when I'm 70, and even if I don't, I'm gonna if I
Yeah.
drop dead on the way, I'm still not. That just happens. But I'm not gonna stop because of time. I will just keep trying.
Time. Oh, it's just time. Yeah. I have seen, because I'm in this business for more than 23 years, I have seen people being persistent, and all of them, they got something at some point. It is just keep going. And sometimes people will give up, right?
Yep.
You know that famous thing, like it's always on Facebook and stuff, people digging for gold, and one guy
Hmm.
walks away, and the gold is just like 10 centimeters away from him. And he just gives up at that time.
Yeah, and it's
And yeah, that can happen. And I've seen people being persistent, and it can take time, but really, even if you're not that talented, people who are persistent is gold. You don't need to be the number one talented person. I also had a little bit difficulties in learning, and I just keep going. It is just the love for it, the passion,
yeah,
and it kind of shows it. People
yeah,
pick
and it
up
does.
on it. Hmm.
Yeah, that reminds me of I was always Arnold Schwarzenegger for me was a big influence when I was younger, and
Mm-hmm.
I would read everything he'd done, listen to everything he said about training. I would go to the gym myself, and I always remember him saying it's like the last rep, the hardest one, is the only one that really counts, and that's where people
Wow.
normally quit. They quit before they do that last one, and that's the one that makes all the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like
Now,
that someone so close to
yeah,
success in what they want, and like you say, they drop off. They
yeah,
give up. They can't
yeah,
keep going.
yeah. Well. To add something to this, because this is amazing what you say.
Hmm.
I just made a T-shirt, and I sell this online. Like, be different, but it's not only be different. It's be different from the different. That will make the real difference. So I will explain that. For example, when you want to play movies, right? A lot of people they become stuntmen, right? This is still a big community, but to
Hmm.
really stand out from the stuntmen, right? Because sometimes you disappear in groups, right? Like the stunt
Yep.
group or the group of actors. To make the real difference, you have to even be different from them.
Yep.
Then you make the difference. So be different from the different, and that is harder. It's easy
Yeah.
to still disappear in in group behavior and disappear in the forest.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And look,
remember seeing just this when I was even in school. You would see groups of people from like the people that were like Gothic people, grunges
yeah,
people, hip hop people. They all had these groups, and each one thought they're different, yet they already have a group, and they all look the same.
yeah, exactly.
Within
Even
the
in the
group, they are
group.
the same. They're not
Yes,
different.
yes.
So,
So
and
what will happen as a result? And you have to. Yeah, this is for everyone listening, right? Like you have to kind of accept as a constant that you're gonna get ridiculed if you want to be standing out. Whatever you do,
yeah,
right? Whatever art it is, you're gonna get ridiculed. Like really, who does this guy think he is? Or really, does he think he can do that? His own style? Like, come on. And I had some people making jokes about me, but now I've got even compliments from a video game developer. Like, wow, this
yeah,
is a good style. After 4 years, you just have to keep going. And then
yeah,
it starts with ridiculization, but at the end, they will be quiet, those
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, it's building that self-confidence so that
Yeah,
when you are someone else says something, you know for yourself your own truth, so you can keep your own
yeah.
strength and not let it pull you down to what they want. And like I said again, the martial arts, this is in the teachings. If
Oh,
you have a
yeah.
good martial arts teacher, or you investigate martial arts yourself to look into the different styles, the different techniques, but the philosophy, not just the action and the movement, but the deeper
Yeah,
meanings. Like you say, now
yeah,
we have MMA and we have all this fighting, and it's all about fighting, 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 and
yeah.
there's so little on the philosophy.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
what's missing. I tell you the truth. Some fights are okay, but I'm not a very big fan of the MMA, to be honest.
Mm.
It's great fights and people training hard for it. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's something missing. I think it's cool, but there's something missing what the martial
yeah.
art
If
does
they,
have. Yeah.
yeah, if they made a karate kid, but he's the MMA kid, they wouldn't have a Mr.
Mm,
Miyagi. It would just be the
yeah.
fight, and without Mr. Miyagi, there's no karate kid. There's no
Yeah.
story. There's no development. It's just
Yeah,
this
and
person
that's
becomes a good fighter,
yeah. Well, that's why
and
Cobra
who?
Kai, I think, is successful because it gives kind
Yeah,
of that vibe back of the 80s. And people who never were in the 80s, they are like, wow, what is this? This is a good vibe. Like they can
yeah.
just, it's amazing how they preserve that in
Yeah,
Cobra Kai. It's
I
good.
watched that and I had low expectations. I thought, this is going to be no good. And I watched it and I was like, they've done it so well. The story showing that everyone has their goods and bads. No one's the hero, no one's the villain. It keeps switching, but they put
Mm,
so much philosophy in that it like you can see how
yeah,
this is going to give such nourishment in development for people that actually watch it because it's not just about the fights. We're
that's
talking
it.
about
It's the
life.
message. Yeah,
There's
and
lots
that's
of
what a lot
messages.
of movies are missing nowadays. And we talk about it with the people who understand that in this business. Like we
Mm,
want to bring that back. Like
yeah,
a movie with passion, motivation, and also with a message about life, a message. Like not
yeah,
just killing people and the kill count is like whatever. People getting numb, and it's already enough numbing already of people if you look on the streets, right?
yeah,
People are numb
yeah.
already. We need to bring the feelings back. It's almost spiritual, a spiritual task, right? On the deeper
Yeah,
level. For me,
yeah,
it's a spiritual journey, actually, to be honest with everyone. It is
yeah,
that
no,
deep. Hmm.
yeah, exactly the same for me. It is all about that, and for me, it's all about giving more than you receive, and like you say, giving more. And in the
Yeah,
movie industry and the films, it's like the films that give the most have a depth, have a story that you can relate to
yeah,
and grow from and develop yourself from, and you
yeah,
are better off for watching it. Whereas so many
Yeah,
now, you are much worse off if you watch and you spend your time wasted on this. So many of them,
yeah. Well,
and there's
some
so much
people
choice now.
they use yeah. Some people they use movie business as a show off. Like, look what I can do. Look what I can
Hmm.
do. Right? It's like a show off. But I say, guys, don't do that. People pick up on it, and just share your heart with the audience. Like that motivation and passion you have, that feeling when you wake up. That's what we have to transfer. Not only the moves and the kicks. That's great,
Yeah,
but there's more to it. And some people don't get it, but then they get stuck and they become bullies, and because they not have this other side of it. And
yeah,
Bruce Lee, look at Bruce Lee. He was very philosophical, right?
yeah.
Right,
So
he was
so much so.
philosophical. So
And all his
yes.
films, the layers, I would watch back his films even as a child, like a teenager, and then even
Mhm.
now later, I like to watch them back again, and I'm like, oh, I noticed something even more deep that he's put in the message, how much effort he put into the choreography, the background, the message and the
Yeah,
tone of the films. It's layered and layered in metaphors. Not
yeah,
just it's not just a fight film. You
yes,
know,
yes,
even the
yes.
cinematography, every aspect has had a touch of passion
Yeah,
attached to it that's with meaning.
that's
And
it. And if you really follow yourself deep, like, what do you want? What do you want to do in life? What do you want to show? Don't be shy to carry that out.
yeah,
Don't hide. A lot of people are hiding behind filters, Photoshop filters or whatever,
yeah.
Instagram behind filters, and try to be cool. And I had one manager who told me, Ron, you don't be yourself. Just be that Hollywood guy that wears suits every day, with cars and sponsors, and he just wanted to change me. And my wife said, she's next to me here. She said, "Oh, Ron,
Oh,
you
hello.
you 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 can't do that." Yeah, yeah, she's here. Yeah, and she said you can't do that. You're gonna turn against you, Ron. And I couldn't handle it. Like, I just want to be myself. I show that in my
Yeah,
videos, just to be in balance. And I don't need to show off someone who I'm not. I don't want that. And then people said, "Oh well, then you never go to Hollywood." Right? Well, probably going to go to USA end of the year, so
yeah.
things will happen. But I just don't want to be
I I
following
think
everyone. I just
I think
don't want
because
it.
of especially now there's like a resurgence of the 80s at the moment and things like Cobra Kai and there's other shows that are there's a
Yeah.
crave and it's crazy for me to now say like the 80s was like 40 years ago, it still seems like it
Wow.
wasn't that long ago. Um,
Yeah.
but there's like a resurgence of karate, of martial arts that's being brought. Cobra Kai is a big part of that to the younger influence,
Yeah.
the younger people. And I think the action style films are
Hmm.
going to come back with much more quality. And like I say, you're being persistent. I think you'll be a big part of that. Because you have the right mindset
Yeah.
from what we're talking about now and the passion, and
Yeah.
that needs to
I
come
have a
across in
script.
film.
Yeah, I have a script for that. And even in
Mhm.
other people's projects, I give them suggestions. Like, come on,
Yeah,
like, add more of this. Come on, why not? This is just a revenge story. Add more to it, right?
yeah,
Like, some people are so simple thinking. Yeah, of course, they've been conditioned like that in this maybe society, but there's much more to it. And give it a meaning. So, and I even have layers. Like, for example, in my movie project, right? Like, I am with a girl, and we are very passionate in this movie. But in the background, everybody is walking in the phone, for example. This is just
yeah,
an example. This is a third layer. But if you pick up on it, you see, like, why everybody in the background are like zombies. And in the
yeah.
front, people are alive because they're not in the
They're
phone,
alive,
right?
yeah, and they're connected, and they're having a real human, intimate experience.
Yes, yes, exactly. Now, this is not the main story, but this is also there. So there's so many things and pointers which will try to give that message to the audience on so many levels. This is an amazing task, an
Yeah.
amazing thing to do.
So this is a film
And
you have started filming, or you have just have you've got the script and you
yeah,
are looking
yeah,
to produce and to make it?
yeah, the script. Now, I'm not worried about investors. I have people in interested. It's now a little bit, this period is a little difficult now to fly people in, with the
Mm,
situation, especially Thailand
yeah,
right now. But we are very close. We are very close to do this project. I have to finish a few small things, on production level, and with locations, a few small things. But I did this parallel. So I developed the music the same time as the script, checking locations the same time, the people, like parallel. I wanted to feel it, feel the locations, feel the music while developing. So it's not just like script first and then this is coming in and this. No, it was all like in the same time, and
Yeah, and
that's amazing.
you have your and in this story, are you playing the main character, the sort of hero
Yes,
in the story? Yeah.
yes,
Is
I
it?
have to because that's what I want. I want to be a good guy now.
Yeah,
After all
and
this bad guy part,
yeah, is there a space for Dolph Lundgren to come in as maybe the villain, and you get to fight him?
he is because at the end of the movie there will be some kind of movie star joining in,
Hmm.
and there is absolutely space for him. Yeah,
Yeah, so
there would be.
maybe like I said, that list will be getting ticked off, and you get the film made. Yeah, I really look forward to
Oh,
seeing it. Make sure you keep
would
me
be
updated
great.
with what's happening. Like I said, I've been
Yeah,
checking your YouTube channel, and this sort of stuff is so interesting. And like I said, I think now we can connect and share so easily. Just
yep,
building the fan base on the want to build and make the film and want it to happen. There's so many
yeah.
advantages at this time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And also, by the way, also the people involved, right? So, for example, for the main girl, I had a lot of requests and people like, oh, this girl she look good, she's pretty, and she can be the main girl. I said, wait a moment, there's more than pretty. I want the girl to be shining from the inside out, to go to
Yeah,
the outside. So I found a girl, she's look amazing, but this girl, if you look in her eyes, like you can see the universe. Like,
yeah,
this girl is shining so much from the inside. Like this is what we want. So not only just beautiful models or something, we want
yeah.
really like,
Some
wow,
depth of
like
character
that.
that shines through.
Yes, and this girl can make you cry, like if it goes wrong, like something like that, like the Adrian in the Rocky films,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like that, right? She was not Miss America, but she was
yeah.
just great.
Yeah, and you really feel the love between them. Like it's a real love story,
Yeah,
you know? And it's not just a boxing film. The same as with the martial arts. It's so much philosophy in it. There's so much
yeah,
things you can relate to in life. And even if you just have a relationship, you can relate to having a struggle in your life with your partner and you just wanting to be there
yeah.
and love them and need them when you're when you celebrate and when you fail.
Yeah, well, about failure, relationships can have a big part on that. Because I know of a lot of talented people, and regarding relationships, right? Like if some girl or guy is not behind you in your dream or career, it's gonna be very hard, and it can take 1 year or 4 years. But at the end, you might break up, and then you lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
And just be careful, yeah, with relationships sometimes.
I think it's be careful and to have the communicate. If someone has got these big dreams, big ambitions, I think the communication of the dreams and ambitions is important. So the person knows where you want to
Yeah.
go and why you want to go and wants then
Yep.
to encourage you. And if they
Yeah.
don't, you know that you're not going to get what you want. So maybe it's just not meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my ex told me on a holiday, like a very sensitive moment, like, okay, I'm supporting you, but promise me when you're 30, if you're not famous, you're gonna quit. You're becoming like my brother, just a regular job. Can you promise me? I said, oh, I said when I'm 30, it's just starting. And that whole holiday was spoiled.
Yeah.
She was angry. So this is a form of manipulation. So be careful of manipulative things. Like some girls will start a fight before you go training, so you not feel good in training and you want to come home quick. Like all these kind of things, manipulations. It happens, and I've seen very good fighters with great bodies and talents being destroyed by manipulation of their partner, and they will give up on their dream. And it's this
Yeah.
is one I want to warn the audience for. Like never let that happen. And like my wife, she's so relaxed, she even wants me to go to the US to do a movie, or wants me to, because she knows this is, I love that.
Yeah, and then you end up wanting to spend more time with them, to love them more, to appreciate them more
Oh,
because you feel it. You give back what they give you.
oh, all the time I give to them. Like when I finish training, I'm at home, I'm with my son, we like a little bit fighting too, just some sparring for fun, but we having a great time with the people really who really love you. So I
Yeah.
keep a little bit distance from people in movie business, because if you sometimes go too close with them, it might turn against you
Yeah.
sometimes. So I be careful with that.
Yeah, like you said, there's lots of manipulation in the movie business because lots of
Yes.
people are trying to get on top of the other person, not so much help
Yeah.
each other up, but
Yeah.
just overtake them. And
Yes, and it's not only haters. Like manipulation can be in many forms. Like, okay, you're a good guy, and can you do this for me? So that means if you don't do it, if then, right? So that means you're a good guy because you're doing this. But like if you do favors, like you're the good guy. But that means if you don't not do those favors, then you're not a good guy. So
mm,
there's also on the positive side there can be manipulation. I like people who not expect too much from each other. I never expect anything from anyone. I just see what
yeah,
happens, and we share the love, the passion. Like, okay, we give advice, we help each other, but it's without expectations back,
it,
or
yes,
without.
exactly. That's the big part of what I share
Oh,
online is my life journey and things, and part of that was to let go
mhm.
of all expectations
Oh,
and
it's
to
so good.
just be
Yeah.
completely open and just trying to give unconditional love to everything and everyone.
Yeah.
And there's no condition
Yeah.
on it, and then there's no expectation on it, and it goes
Yeah.
however it goes. And if it doesn't feel like it's gone the way you may have wanted, then I will find something within that moment to make it the way I want it. There will be a lesson
Mm,
there that I can use my imagination, and I will make sure I make something from it, especially if it
yeah.
was painful.
Always.
You know, if it's stressful, it's painful, then I'm like, there's some real good growth there. And one day I will find out.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe 10 years, but one day.
You
And like
need
you
you
said, keep
need it.
fighting
Yeah.
forward.
Fighting forward. No, we
Yeah.
need that. We need that. And yeah, those expectations. If as you said, if you don't have that, right? It's a form of freedom, a form of mental
Yeah.
freedom. Like, okay, well, I didn't expect anything anyway, so I'm not disappointed if this guy is like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually talking
Okay,
to a friend today. I was talking to a friend today, and he's actually from Holland. And I asked him, I said, "Can you pronounce this name? I want to get it correctly." And he did it with like a roll in R. And I practiced about 100 times. I couldn't do it, so I didn't try. I tried to get your name
uh,
pronunciation, and I just
oh,
couldn't get the the. But
well,
but
it is. In Dutch we say Smorenburg, Smorenburg.
yeah, and I couldn't do this
Yeah,
every time. The end bit, the just was separate.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
again, it's the
Well,
repetition, the training, and you would learn anything.
yeah, it's good for Russian parts. If I have to be a Russian character like
Yeah,
this, then it's okay. For Russian, for those Russian characters, it's
yeah.
actually compatible. But
I
for
almost
proper
feel,
English,
yeah,
not.
yeah. I feel almost for like the action movies, there's an expectation of an accent because of people like Van
Yeah,
Damme, Arnold, Bruce Lee. They all
yeah,
have, they're not pure English speaking accents. And it's almost like you're not an action star unless you have an accent. It's
yeah.
almost
Well,
like an
it's rare you
advantage, I think,
saying that.
now.
It is rare you saying this to me. You know why? Because you
Mhm,
actually giving a good advice. You're giving me a
mhm.
good advice. There's a lot of people who give me, maybe they don't mean it bad, but they don't see the uniqueness of people. They think you have to be like this group behavior. You need to be proper
Yeah,
American to get only American parts and stand out. No, I use it as an asset, like a little bit Dutch accent. I use it as an asset, like Van Damme, like Schwarzenegger, like
yeah.
Dolph Lundgren, Sweden.
Yeah, and when you look into all
It's a
these
good
people,
thing.
they was all told
Yeah,
the same thing that you change your name or change your accent, you can't go to, you will
yeah,
never make it. Yeah, they was all told a million times,
yeah,
you will never make it, you will never make
yeah.
it. But
I
they
think
didn't
the
give up.
opposite. I think the opposite. The more people say
Mm,
that and the more you get ridiculed, the faster
yeah,
you will make it. I think the opposite. So that's good news for a lot of people when they hear this. Like,
yeah,
they
and
think
some of
maybe they're not being taken serious. They are on the
yeah,
right way.
and like I say, I think everything is like a transition. Everything is constantly in motion. So it's like I will never make it. I'm
Mm,
always making it.
yeah.
It's what I
Yeah,
create. I'm making it. Not I will make
exactly.
it because that's the end, and I've got no
And
intention on the end.
no, me too. Because people always, they always think that making it, or you haven't making it, but like this end goal. But they forget about the whole journey. I'm training. I'm very happy every day. I wake up like, let's do this for today, right? Let's
How
have the
much do you
long
train?
vision every day, if possible. Every day, like I'm probably like 2 hours. Now there's a
So
little bit there. There's a little
walk
bit
me through your day. So you do you
lockdown.
wake up and you eat, or do you go straight into training, or you just see your child? What's the sort of average day?
Yeah, well, now my kid is at home, because of COVID. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wake up. I sleep late, sadly. but I do a lot of editing and some online promotion. I do graphics, so we design our own graphics, like our own posters and our own promotion,
Right.
and we do that. You create yourself. A lot of editing, preparing of fight scenes. I study a lot of video game fights, like for cool
Yeah.
combos, but I will not copy that one to one. I will always change it or give my unique flavor, and then
Yeah.
just test and shoot it on video. Analyze the videos, how it looks when I come home after training for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Edit, and those are the videos you see sometimes on my channel.
Okay. Yeah.
like like it is a lot of research. It's basically being in the lab all day. It's in
Yeah.
the lab research, and and sometimes a lot of people want to meet up, for example, hey Ron, let's meet for coffee, this and this, but sometimes it's just talking, yeah, about the business, about other people, and for me this is waste of time. I've
Hmm.
even the guy sometimes like want to call me and stuff about people and business and this. I said I don't want to talk about people. I want to be productive, right?
Yeah.
This is not good. I said, stop it, please. Like, and they kind of steal your time. So I want to give advice to the audience, right? Like, protect your time with your life. Because this is life energy, right? Your
Yeah.
life energy. Protect it. Let not people take it away from you. Some people can call you in 5 minutes. They can drain you. Like, you don't know why,
Yeah.
but you feel tired, right? Like that kind of
Yeah,
feeling.
definitely. You can,
Yes.
there's many people that can do that to you. Like, and there's also many people that do the opposite. And it's noticing which ones you have,
Yeah, but
which gift of people you have, and you bring them into your circle, and you energize each other. And then the ones
yep.
that come in and you feel that, like, they have
Mm,
what I would call a bad attitude. And I heard one person talking about attitude before, and he said your attitude is like a
mm.
fragrance, because it's like a smell you hold, and some people stink. And he goes, and it
Yeah,
takes all
yeah,
your
yeah.
energy to try and to not smell them. And sometimes you just need them out of your atmosphere so you can,
Yeah.
be with other good fragrances, and have a much more comfortable life, and not have to always be in defense of their stink, you know?
Yeah, some people can't help themselves, They maybe have some very bad experience when they were young. And for example, maybe they've always been teased by someone, or maybe there's some people had some bad experience, right? But they not learn from that, right? So they
Yeah.
become the same. And that's the problem. So
Yeah.
so yeah, those people, they are not in balance. So every time an unbalanced people is around you, right? They also take you out of balance. And when they start opening their mouth, it already starts. Like they talk about someone, or they talk some comment to you, or some ironical or sarcastic thing, or some kind of joke, but it's meant to make you think. Like the currency
Yeah.
in life is actually not money. I think it's energy and how people take
Yeah.
it from you or give it. I think that's the currency. And it's a battle for your energy or other people's
Yeah.
energy or attention. Like look at
Yeah. Because
Instagram, right? It's all about that.
yeah, it's all about how much time you spend, how much of your energy. Everything's to make you stay there for the longest period of time, to give you energy to it. And then you have no
Yeah, yeah,
no
right,
actual.
right, 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 right. I think that's interesting. But when you're aware of
Yeah.
that, right? Some people just live their lives. They're not aware of this thing. They just see it as events, right? Like, why this happened to me? Why? But if you're aware of this, you become very sensitive and you start to decode it. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
guy, this is what he's up to. So it's all about intentions. Does he want to
Yeah.
give you energy and really care for you and want you to grow? Or does he want to take something at the end? Like,
Yeah.
this is a kind of, it's very dangerous, because not dangerous, but you start to pick up on it, and you see through people like that, like a scanner almost.
Yeah. Well, I find
But that
if
can
you're on the
save your
path of
time. Hmm.
yeah, if you're on a path of self-development, you're trying to actually. I used to say self-improvement, and then I realized I don't
Mm,
like this word, because to improve means it's already not good enough. Whereas I like to develop. I see myself always good enough, but I can even
mm,
be better. So I'm good
yeah,
enough now, but I will be better. I'm good enough now,
that's
but I can
right.
grow.
Because your
And you see,
intentions are already good. Yes, you
yeah,
want the
so you have
best.
your intentions set to improve yourself in all aspects more. And for me, this is more love, more kindness, more joy. I want to have more physical function in my body at all times and increase this path, and also have more joy and love and increase this path. And I will measure all
Yeah,
my actions to make sure that I'm going in this direction, whatever that direction is. And
Yeah,
you then very quickly see when other people this is not even in their sight. Their intention is they're unaware, like you say, completely unaware that
you're
they're on
unaware. They
a
live from day to day. Yeah,
they're on
yeah,
a destructive path of self. They're actually living in a world of self-abuse, and when they come into your atmosphere, it becomes a challenge
yeah,
to try and you're either trying to raise them up to bring them to a better balance, and this takes your
yeah,
time and energy. Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it did for me take a long time to realize like I just wanted to give to people so much, and sometimes you end up giving, like you say, too much of your energy, and then you suffer afterwards. And
yeah, yeah. Always. And even even people who are meditating or healing people, like healers, like you have this healing
Mhm.
massage, they really have to, after those massages, the doctors, they really have to rebalance themselves, because sometimes they
Yeah,
pick up on energy from the body, from people, and they pick up on it, and they might even feel sick. They have to,
yep,
but they are stronger because they can rebalance themselves. They know how to do that, the doctors, right? Those healing
yeah.
doctors.
Like I said, they
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 have practices and things they
yeah,
do that's to get themselves ready, prepared before, and then also to sort of discharge afterwards and to rebalance.
yes.
Yeah, but like modern Western massage, I see people and lots of
Mm.
time you can see that they have become sick themselves. They have bad posture, they have a bad physique, and they're
Oh,
very tired and very sick. But it's a bit
oh
like the
really?
martial
Yeah.
arts just being fighting. It's like they're
Mm.
just doing the massage without knowing what they're dealing with, almost. Like there's more of an exchange happening. Like so it's all the energy exchange.
It happens a lot, I think, with a lot of people, even in martial arts. Yeah, and the MMA people have to be careful, because at some point, they maybe get injured, and they're getting older, and they
Yeah.
not have. Yeah, they might get out of balance, or maybe
Yeah.
it's very tricky, or maybe
Like I have
start
a
to drink, or yeah,
yeah, I have another question for you because for me personally,
yeah.
I'm like I said, always on a path to increase my energy, to have more energy because
Mm.
energy is time, that's more life, more productivity. So I'm always looking, how can I increase my energy, my flow? What do you do to keep your energy going? And do you have anything particular that you've noticed that has worked really
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, looking at my son, because my son is very pure energy, right? Pure
Hmm.
intentions, pure love,
How
He
old is
comes
he?
to me, Papa, he's 9 years old.
Hmm.
And he comes to me with pure love, like, Papa, look at this. You just want to show me things, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes as parents, we are busy, like, no, I don't want to look at this. No, I always say, Nikki, show me. Look, I want to see it, because he's so proud of showing things. And this is energy transfer. He want to
Mm.
share things, right, with me. He's excited. So this is good. So those things, let it in. Good music, good music. Like, I love music, for example, Elvis Presley, and good
Yeah.
music, like the vibes, the
Yeah.
vibrations. Wrong music can actually spoil me. Like, if there's this wrong patterns of music, like this little
Yeah.
bit, this programming music of repetition beats,
Yeah.
repetitive beats. This is like almost like zombie mode for me. I'm
Hmm.
in any place where I am, even a cafe or bar, and they're playing this music. I'm like, oh my god! Like, in shopping, in shopping centers, the music is always like that, to keep you in a certain mode, shopping mode.
Yeah. Even
Listen to
even
the
the
music in
lights,
shopping centers.
yeah,
Yes,
the
even the
music
light.
and the lights,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's so powerful. When you're more sensitive, you notice, and your
Yes.
awareness it feels it, and you realize like, oh,
Yeah.
this slows you down.
Yeah, like a slowdown effect in video games. Like, it's
Yeah.
25% slowdown or something like that. But the opposite is there too. So before I train, I always like black coffee. I'm not
Hmm.
addicted, but yeah, I like it before I go training, or that. I
Do
have good music,
you have just a pure black coffee?
pure black coffee, no sugar, no milk, and it's like, it's good. And then I start with some nice videos about some video games, or something from Elvis, or something from things what inspire me,
Yeah.
or a few good quotes, or just like that. I love it.
Yeah.
I always, I feel that I get drained from watching Instagram or Facebook sometimes, like stories, because
Yeah.
everybody want to show off everything. Like, everybody is perfect, and because it's a little bit fake, I pick up on it, and it not motivates me for some reason. Like, everybody's kicking high and doing great, but for some reason it demotivates me, and I ask myself why. I don't know why.
Yeah, I feel the why is like what we were saying about the movies. there's no depth in just the action alone. There has to be a metaphor, a philosophy behind it. And for the most part, it's only an image or a video, and it's not
Mm,
got any depth. So there's no story. There's no real inspiration is not there.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't inspire me. People can have biceps like they blow out of the screen. It doesn't inspire me. Uh, that's weird because everybody's like that, and then because everybody is doing it, maybe that's the key also. Because everybody's doing it, it's not interesting for me anymore. Because
Yeah,
everybody is showing their abs, everybody's showing their biceps, everybody is like, okay, come on, like like. So I want to. I have this kind of, you are not immune, allergic for something. I'm allergic for group behavior.
yeah,
I'm extreme allergic for that, and I don't like to follow the group. And now there's this TikTok stuff, and you have to do crazy on TikTok to get more likes and shares. I don't want that.
yeah.
Like, better than have less fans and just be authentic. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
there's still
know.
a large amount of people that are also craving authenticity, especially now, because so many people, even though the numbers are there for people watching all these short videos and these attentions, but there's
Mm,
still a wealth of people that are hungry for much more. They're hungry for actual to be involved in life and to be involved in the stories of actual
yeah,
how
yeah,
people have been through. This is why I created the podcast, is to share with people
yeah,
the depth of life and to go into real more detail and how people have
yeah,
developed. Because for me, so many people just doing their actions, Bruce Lee and these martial artists and people, they gave me inspiration when times were hard to keep going.
yeah.
And like right
That's why
now,
people
times are
still
hard for a
talk
lot of
about him.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why people still talk about Bruce Lee. He left something behind. This is for a reason, right?
mm,
This is for a reason. Like, well, why people not talk every day about Chuck Norris, right? Okay,
yeah,
they still make it some funny jokes about him. I mean, I think he's cool, huh? Chuck Norris, he's great. Like, they have some great stories about Chuck Norris. But why? I think, yeah, he left, really literally left something behind. His passion is still in his world. It's still
yeah,
here. People try to sometimes, with Instagram and those things, they try to, and sometimes I still laugh about stuff, right? But
yeah,
sometimes I just see through it sometimes. Like, this person just want attention, but just, without any meaning. Like, maybe people are suffering these days and they're missing something and try to find it in those things. Maybe
yeah.
there's a lack of something, I think,
Well,
these
I think
days.
there's a lack of one-to-one connection, a bit like you said in your
Yeah,
script, where there's two people having a physical bond, an actual human experience, and everyone else is on the phone. It's like this in life. It's a good representation because so few people have a real conversation with someone where they really
yeah,
share and open, but motivate each other, inspire each other to live life better in some way. Very
yeah,
few people have this conversation. If they ever connect, it's to complain,
yeah.
and both people
Yeah, to
feel
complain.
slower and they feel less productive, and it's like so they stop doing it,
Yeah,
and now
yeah,
they're
like the
triggered
way we
by
talk now.
mm,
Like the way we talk now, like I not have conversation like that every day. It's hard to find like people who can talk like this. But in my
yeah,
circles, we talk like this. The way we talk now in this podcast, in my
yeah,
circles, yes. But it's not everyone. Like, I can
no,
be gossiping all day with a lot of meetings and a lot of people, and I will just nothing will happen.
yeah,
I will just hate myself probably at some point.
yeah.
And
I want to
and
get in
but with uh
sorry, carry on.
yeah, I wanted to say, when I'm with my wife, right? I tell her literally, this is your time, baby. Now this is your day or your time, whatever. I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
the phone at home, and right, baby, right, baby. I always keep the phone at home, right, when we go. Like, I always said, no phone today. I'm here for you, right?
yeah,
And she loves it. Like, she know the attention is for her. And it's so important. Like,
yeah,
it's good to do. It's maybe an advice for other people. Like, just to say, okay, today the phone is not with me. I'm for you all day.
yeah. Even if you can't
Mm.
do all day, if you're sitting down for a meal or you're just sitting for a conversation, put it away,
Oh,
airplane
it's
mode or
great.
something, and just have
Yeah.
that time. Like you're not I spent a few years away from my friends and family, and I went back after such a long time, and I went to see a really good friend. And I hadn't seen him for years, and I was really looking forward to
Hmm.
having a conversation and just seeing him and being in each other's presence. And the
Yeah.
whole time he was looking at his phone, scrolling through his feed on Facebook. And he's going, yeah,
Oh,
and I
oh,
was just like,
really?
no. Yeah, and I was just like,
Yeah, you know
I
it, huh?
didn't
Yeah,
judge him and think, oh, I was just, but I felt sorry for him. I was like, you're not in life, you're not present. You know, you're just so distracted.
yeah, yeah. You're
And
right. Yeah, right, right. People try to discover the world through the phone while the world is here. Like when I walk
yeah,
in Bangkok, right? A lot of people walking with the phone, but the world is just just look around you, and it's amazing details. The city,
yeah,
what's going on? It's beautiful, but people don't see it anymore. I think that we're
no,
just in a kind of almost online state with our mind. If we are
yeah,
online or something,
yeah. And
but
so
not
many people
connected.
are waiting to
Yeah.
be more plugged online. They want a chip, they want to be plugged into a computer even more so. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
like,
almost like transhumanism, isn't it? Like
yeah,
transhumanism, and they, I know they're steering towards it, and they do it step by step, and then they use probably they use occasions like even so. It's hard to talk about this, but like the pandemic, they might use those occasions to implement things, to, moving forward towards this transhumanism,
yeah.
and it's a little bit scary.
And I think again, it's if you
Yeah,
haven't early in your life found a path of self-development, and like I said, for me, it was martial arts, boxing,
yeah,
certain role models. If you haven't had this
mm,
early in your life, like
yeah,
so, you end up on a path of sort of self-destruction, and you're always looking
yeah,
for that improvement, and then you think your phone is so good that, oh, if only I was as good as my phone, maybe one day I can be a part phone, part person, you know. And they're trying to improve because they know
yeah,
deep down something is out of balance, but they also have
yeah,
they've had no good teachings from an early age. I think that's why it's so important that people get into things
yeah,
like understanding martial arts and have group practices of discipline and pushing yourself, you know, that get your body involved, but also you have to get your mind involved.
yeah.
uh, I think it's
Yeah, people don't like it to get pushed nowadays, or the discipline, or they think too easy. It's a little bit the McDonald's society where everything want they want it quick. Like for
yeah,
me, when I went in the movie business, it took me so much time. I wrote every Hollywood company, every production company in Hollywood, and I got maybe one reply.
yeah,
I went to Hong Kong myself without any knowledge. Like I just tried, and now people just messaging me, hey Ron, are you that guy from Jackie Chan? Give me all your contacts, I'm coming to Bangkok, can you give me your contacts and show me around? And they ask me stuff like that. Like, wow,
mm,
this is quite rude. They just
yeah,
want it in their hand basically, without doing too much for it. And this mentality is, and I had guys coming actually to Thailand, like some guys I know from Holland,
hmm,
and they thought that they would get it like this, like in a finger snap, like, you know,
yeah,
playing movies and this, but it's not that easy. So they were here, they did some stuff, but they went back. They should have stayed here, and they be persistent, they would have done stuff more.
yeah,
But they thought they're going to be a superstar maybe very quick, but it's not like that. Even for me, after many years, it every day is still a nice challenge, and I love it. Without that, I wouldn't be alive. So I love it. I love the challenge, and it's maybe good that I didn't. I'm not like a big superstar, right? But I
yeah,
love to have this challenge every day to just keep improving in acting, and let's see. But if people
yes,
say you haven't made it and stuff, I my definition of having made it is different.
yeah,
Can I tell you what I think?
yeah, please,
For me, my definition is just to wake up. If you can wake up every day like, wow, let's do this. You have this challenge, like, oh, you're on fire, like, I love to do this today, I love to. So you think on the long term, but for this day also can be a small success for you if you just train and do your best, right? And whatever the
yeah,
outcome is, right, it's just cool to be alive and do it. This is already a success, to have this fire and passion, and share
yeah,
that with others. That is
yeah.
cool.
I think, yeah, that's the same for me. It's like it's a journey, not a destination. So you want to be, and you need to be excited on the journey. If you're waiting for the future to make something for that to
Yeah,
happen, you know, you will
yeah,
always be chasing the future, and you never live in the moment you're in, and you
in
miss
the
out on
present.
life.
Yeah, it is,
Mm.
it's, yeah, it's even depressing, it's not good. So yeah, and I also enjoy the small things. There are so many small things in life we don't see anymore because we always think about the big things. But like
Yeah,
when my son comes to me in the morning, Papa, look at this. For him, this is the world, right? To show
yeah,
me his new game, or show us something you want to show me. For him, this is the world, right? This is his big world. So it depends how you relativate it. But this makes him happy. And if I give him like this an hour or 10 minutes, 20 minutes looking at him, like it's for him the world.
Yeah, and it
So
makes
so it's
all the
small
difference.
things.
And
Yeah,
the influence makes all the difference. Like we talked, it's the childhood influence, like you said with your uncle. It's the little
yeah,
influences, the little actions, the little things that do make the difference. And if you shut someone down when they're this young and you just say, I haven't got
yeah.
time now, then this sometimes can stick for their life.
Oh, oh, absolutely. A bad childhood, sometimes
Yeah.
can really, yeah, scar people. I had it with a few friends. Luckily, my parents were always excited and positive. And okay, it made me, as personal development, it made me over naive. So I was
Mm.
always protected and I had a lot of love, but it made me over naive. So I had to learn the hard way. So I had some very bad experience with some bad friends in my life who
Yeah.
really put me down or abused me almost, like exploited almost, like let me work for
Yeah.
them and do all the stuff, like almost the opposite. But I needed that. I needed
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
This taught you a lesson, like you said, because
hard lessons. Oh, oh, you will not know. Like people only see the good stuff, but if you know my background, like it's some hard. It's like people they can steal your credits, your work, this passion you have. They try to take that and put it
yeah.
in their name. Sometimes it
Yeah. And
happens.
it's
Yeah.
having that again, that strength to just be present that that happened, and it's not going to break you. It's going to keep you. It's actually going to make you stronger. You'll find a way to be stronger in
Yes.
yourself and keep
Yeah.
moving. Like for
If you
me,
are
it's the
able.
opposite.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Okay.
For
For
the
you, it's the
childhood,
opposite.
for the childhood side. Like my childhood,
Uh-huh.
I had my parents were split, but my mum had severe mental illness, schizophrenia, from when I was a
Oh.
child. And I ended up being raised by her with my brother, and we went sometime we could go days without food. We had lots of really crazy things happening in our house that didn't make any sense.
Oh.
And at the age of
Oh.
7, I already wanted to take my life. Life was
Oh,
too hard,
really?
and I contemplated suicide from 7. And this went on like multiple
Oh.
times. But then when I got to the martial arts, when I got to these role models, Arnold and so on, I saw these people. And the one thing I didn't want is to lose my mind like my mum. So I was looking for ways to not lose my mind. I was like, the mind is precious. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to do and I could see it gave me an awareness that I didn't appreciate when I was younger. It drove me crazy when I was younger because I was super
Mm-hmm.
aware and I
Yeah.
could see people making little mistakes that drove me crazy. But now in my
Well.
later years, it was like now it's like a gift. This actually enhanced me because I get to see what I do want, what I have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
use it, and
This is very powerful. I think your podcast and what you're doing right now is helping a lot of people,
yeah, I hope so. I've
isn't
had
it?
some good feedback. I'm pushing myself to try and put as much out as possible. Like I used YouTube at first. I put lots of video content on YouTube on everything that has helped me, anything and everything that has
Hmm.
changed me to improve my life and have more joy, more love, and more function. I try to share
Yeah.
as much of that it may help just one person. And it helps
Oh,
myself.
oh,
Every
oh,
time you say it out
oh.
loud, it helps yourself
Yeah.
anyway.
And about this Jackie Chan story and how I got positive out of it, right? Like as the
Yeah.
underdog, but it gave me fire. And I had like so many emails, like personal messages, like Ron, this is amazing story, and this also empowers me not to give up.
Yeah, and I think that's
Some
it.
guy said I'm 35. I wanted to give up. I said, man, I'm 47. I just start. Like, come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah, and I think,
right?
yeah, like you say, it's people
Yeah,
need to know about people that have
yeah,
had struggles, have had fear, have had
yeah,
problems that made them want to quit, but they didn't.
yeah.
Even if they
I
didn't
could
get
have
to,
quit.
yeah.
Oh,
And like you say, it's knowing that, understanding, say the what, like you said, with
hmm,
success. A
hmm,
success is a want to live and find enjoyment in the moment you're in, no matter what's happening, and to still
yeah.
have physical function as much as possible and as much love and joy as possible. And
That is
whatever
already
happens,
success
happens. Yeah,
on its
whatever
own.
happens,
Yes.
happens. But you still have ambition to create, ambition to make a difference, to give more. For me, it's important to constantly have more ambition. And if it doesn't
Yeah.
get fulfilled, if it doesn't manifest in that way, it's like that's what happens. But I'll have joy on the way. On the journey will be exciting. On the journey will
Oh,
be
the
love.
journey is amazing. Even if it's
Yeah.
some failures or things, okay, we just need to. I always see it like we just need to know this. Okay, thank you for that.
Mm.
It's a little bit like this Honoponopono thing. Like, thank you, please forgive me. Thank you, I
Yeah.
love you. like you love the people who gave you this experience, basically, even
Yeah.
if it's bad, and then you can move on. So I start to get rid of grudges and those things.
Yeah.
I just start to be more thankful. And what you did was great, and that is the advice also to other people, of course. Like you connected the dots, right? I connected the dots, and I see
Mm.
the line in it. And if people can do that, right, connect those dots, even failures, just try to make a line in those dots. You can find something amazing. You can even
Yeah.
find your call, maybe, if you don't have it yet. I
Yeah.
think it's powerful. I
Yeah, I
think
think it's
it's
very powerful to feel there is a purpose to yourself, to live and
yeah.
to experience more quality. And like I share with a lot of people, all I want is them to have the possibility of change. Not saying it will change, but they need to hold the possibility that the life will change. It's in motion, and if you do certain things, if you do certain
Yeah.
things physically, if you do certain things uh,
Yeah.
with your
Mentally,
mind,
physically. Yeah.
mentally, yeah,
Yeah.
it will make a difference. And like training,
Oh.
maybe it won't make the difference on day one. Like riding a bike, you have the wheels on the side. You don't normally jump on a bike and ride and everything's perfect. It takes a little time, and then you excited to ride your bike when you
Yeah.
take the wheels off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you just look back a little bit longer, like you scale the scale of time, you just scale a little bit, you zoom out a little bit more. If you look back like
Yeah,
1 year ago, after bicycling every day, right, for example,
yeah,
you see the bigger difference. Not tomorrow, not small gains, but after, hey, look a year back or 2 years back, like wow, actually we started from 5 kilometers to 30 kilometers or whatever, right?
and you just like you say, you're actually going forwards. But I was sharing with someone else. I was saying, like in driving a car, I said you have mirrors in the car so you can look back. But
Yeah,
if you only look back, I said you won't go anywhere. You will probably crash.
yeah,
To
that's the
make you look
problem.
forward. I said,
I
but if
made
you look
those mistakes though.
to live in the past, to look back too much.
Yeah, I made those mistakes. Like people steal something from you, like you can't really accept it, or people jealous. They try to do some tricks on you,
Yeah,
so I learned, like I really learned, like don't react too much on haters and those people. I
yeah,
learned that because it's gonna get worse, and it's not it's people just if people really hate you without reason or they're jealous, it's a very hard enemy,
yeah,
and sometimes logical thinking or discussion will not help. They hate you. It's a territorial thing. So sorry to switch to this, but it's a good addition. Like if you have people don't like you, if you have enemies on territorial base, you can't always change that because you have your life energy and life power, and they don't like that around them because it puts them in the shadow sometimes.
yeah,
And they're not are confident. They're not confident enough to be okay with you around them. So it's a lot of inconfident people, like who cause this trouble for me. Like they're not confident about themselves. So I feel
yeah,
very good with martial artists. Like we connect because we have this confidence. Like we just share stuff without being insecure.
yeah. Yeah,
This is
there's
my
more.
kind of
There's inner
conclusion.
security. Yeah, there's inner
Yeah,
security, so you're not scared. And I think when you have a certain balance, and like you want to give more construction to everything. You want everything to be more constructive. So you want
yeah,
to bring more balance to everything. But in the same way, if someone's deconstructive, they want to deconstruct everything. And when the two meet, and you're very deconstructive and very constructive, they're trying to pull you down, and you're trying to pull them up. And it's a
yeah,
resistance because it's two opposite energies. There's always a friction,
yeah, yeah,
and this
yeah.
this can be draining. And one other thing I would like to say, because you mentioned the word,
Uh-huh.
you made mistakes. I was having a
Yeah.
conversation with my brother, and I said to him, I've never made a mistake. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, because
Oh.
I'm changing it. I said, I'm not accepting that I've made a mistake, because to me, I'm
Hmm.
in the past. I said, I'm changing the word mistake is only a mistake if I've missed taking a gift from the event. If I've taken something that's
Oh,
developed
yeah,
me,
you're right.
I've made no mistake. It's undone
Yeah,
because I've
because
taken.
that's true. Yeah, because you needed that to learn to not do that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
then there's no
yeah.
mistake.
Yeah, you need to experience it. You cannot
Yeah.
sometimes bypass things in life. Like you have to go through it, even if it's tough. And
Yeah.
that's
And
why
it's
people
like,
always say, you not get what you want, you get what you need sometimes.
yeah.
And
And
it's
it's like
sometimes tough.
It's like a
Yeah,
movie, like we said before. If you watch a movie and the
mm,
hero doesn't have obstacles and the hero is gifted with everything in the beginning and it's perfect,
yeah.
you would get bored. You want to see a hero
Oh,
develop to learn and to
yeah,
overcome, and you will see
yeah,
a cycle. They will have to overcome the same pattern that they had before, but now they've learned. Now they have new balance, and they can
yeah,
take on the challenge. And then you go, ah, this is what a good film, you
yeah.
know. And
That's why
life is
I'm
like
very
this.
thankful. I'm very thankful to the haters because one thing they do, they try to find everything, all your weak points, right? So basically, they give you a lot of advice. So everything
Yeah,
they can find what is bad on you, they will use it against you. So listen to that carefully. Like, okay, maybe he improved his voice or his acting, whatever they try to say, right? Okay, well, okay, and it's maybe because they will sum it up, right? They
yeah,
try to. So it's good to be thankful to the haters as well and give them fire. Of course, keep them on a certain distance, right? those
yeah.
those haters, but I kind of have to accept them as part of the universe
There,
because it
there's
it happens.
Yeah, there can't be only good. There has to be the balance of good and bad. So there's always going to be
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that's
yeah,
there, but there's also
yeah,
always something that's good,
yeah.
and
And
you
talking
have
about
to.
balance,
Mhm.
mm, the more you create, the more the uncreators will come. It's like the balance thing, right? The more you do, the more you make happen, the more bananas will be on your way to make you slip.
Yeah,
I'd always tell my wife, right, when I have a good event coming, like an opening of a movie or some promotion or some good news, I said, something bad will come. I said, I'm not negative, but I just feel it. And then the next week, yeah, there's some weird post or some weird reaction, or there's always like this other side. And I expect it. And it's okay because
it's
I know it's coming.
yeah, like I've got no expectation apart from there will be something unexpected.
Yeah, yeah, right. But I can kind of, you just feel it's in the air, it's like, so I not always make logical decisions. I really follow my feeling a lot because
Mm,
that never lies. Almost, that is very true. If you can listen to
yeah,
to that, like your inner call and warnings, and call, like, do this now, like, go for it, go training, go call this guy, maybe, just ask him, or do this, send this tape to Jackie Chan. I think it's a good moment. You have this inner voice, and that changed my life. Like,
yeah.
listen to that, right? I think
Yeah, I
that's
think it's having that sensitivity and being able to feel. For me, I was always a strong thinker first. I would think, and
mm,
because life was hard, I tried to cancel all my feelings. I didn't want to feel, so I put pressure on.
oh,
So I had to go
mm,
reverse and realize, no, now I have to go through a process of feeling everything and bringing that balance back. And like saying,
wow,
feeling
that
comes
must
first.
be, wow, that's a big personal growth, what you're talking about,
Mm,
eh? That is like reversed. That's
yeah.
amazing that you went through all that.
Yeah,
Something,
it's been
whoa.
all the way till I was I'm now 34.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
All the way till I was like 27, life was just suffering. I had
Wow,
had a
amazing.
mum who was I had cared for my whole child life, and she had so many issues, and she tries to commit suicide all the time. She has done so many things.
Wow.
I've even been married and divorced. I've had my best friend that died when I was 19. I've been to prison when I was 17.
So,
Um, like I
wow.
failed at everything that I was attempting, and it kept everything was falling apart. Yeah, and I kept thinking, how can I
Oh,
solve this? And then I got to the position where I was like, one day, life is meant to be
uh-huh.
painful until I
Yeah,
fix everything. I must fix everything because I'm meant to feel bad because there's problems. And then
yeah.
I fell back in love, and my new love, she had a cardiac arrest and died for 2 minutes.
Oh,
She was brought back and she was put in a wheelchair, and they told me you have less than 5 years. And now I've become the carer for my new love. Now they were told she has brain damage, she will never walk again. Um,
oh, really?
and all of this, and it was like life is unbelievable. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, this is like too hard, too hard. And I had my last suicidal thought when in 2015 this all happened. My mum tried to commit suicide 7 times every month
So,
because I was looking after my partner. So then she was
mm,
abandoned, and she was then doing it. And there was
yeah,
all this stress. And I got to the limit where I was like, I can't live like this anymore. But something sparked in me again, and I think it comes from the influence of the fighting spirit, the fire within. Yeah, I had like a
yeah.
spark. to keep going, to fight. And I decided, I'm gonna find a way to enjoy
yeah.
life, to live life, and to be comfortable, even if it gets even more crazy. I don't have to
Yeah,
fix
be
everything.
comfortable with that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it
I
is.
don't have
Yeah.
to fix all the problems. I was like, I will find a way. And I did. And in this time, my partner now, we went through all different alternative care, and she's now walking, and she's told she would never walk. It's been
Oh,
6 years,
really?
and yeah, it's been 6 years, and they said she should be dead, and she's not. She's healthy. She's able to jog, to run, and that
Oh
she was
my
told she
God.
would never walk, she will be dead. And this is not true. But
That is so
we went to a
powerful.
different path. We took a different path, a different
Yeah.
life,
Wow.
and
It's even physically, like literally this happened. Like it's not only the mind, it's also like she's literally walking again. Like
yeah.
this is a double, like a double thing. Uh, This is very powerful, and you can only be the one you are now with this past, maybe like what you experienced and
Yeah,
overcame. That's why
if
your
I didn't
podcast, I think
experience,
it's powerful.
yeah, if I didn't experience
Yeah,
this, then I wouldn't be able to have the conversation, the insight, and be able to give people uh, a perspective. And sometimes all we need is one moment of perception shift, and life can be beautiful. Something we just like, we rewire an old thought. To me, like thoughts are like
yeah,
files on a computer, and the really
hmm
bad ones we've put in a folder and in another folder, and we've labeled "do not open." But if we go
yeah,
back and we take a gift, we now label it as something beautiful because it's a gift from the past,
mm,
and suddenly you rewire your whole way of being, and life changes. And like you
yeah,
say, you see more beauty, experiencing more
yeah,
beauty, more life, more passion,
yeah.
and you have much better communications, much deeper communications. And like you say,
Absolutely.
and people are
Yeah,
energized, people are inspired, and then motivated and want to
yeah,
do more and achieve more.
yeah.
you know?
We need the sparring partners of life. We
Yeah,
need it.
I think-
This is very beautiful what you told me. Like very
well,
powerful. That
yeah, I could.
explains like who you are,
Yeah,
literally.
and for me, it if the process of sharing this, like I'm just talking to you now with such comfort, such ease and joy, like I love to
Mm,
share it now. When I
mm,
first tried to even say anything to anyone about my past, I would cry. I couldn't even
yeah,
say the words "my mum is ill" without breaking down. I would hide everything because there was too much
yeah,
feeling built up. It was too hard. Like I wasn't
yeah.
in a comfortable place to share, to connect.
That's
Like
also, you
it
need to
took
be
time.
comfortable. Yeah,
Yeah, you need, but it was working on my body. It was listening to the words that were preached in martial arts philosophies, in like you even say, even in Karate Kid, the real messages within it, giving you real wisdom and to use in your life. Some of it made, because it's
yeah.
so simple, someone might think, oh, it's too simple, and it's like, no, but life doesn't have to be so complicated.
It
You know,
doesn't have to be complicated. Yes,
some
that's
simple
true.
things
I
can
see
make a
it
big
with my
difference.
family. Yeah, with my family, the base is amazing. I have an amazing base at home. That's where it starts, right? Like the pillars of life. It's very simple. It's not complicated, and this is great. And yeah, sometimes people want me to be complicated or again being in suits and stuff. No, I just want to be simple.
Yeah,
I have I always have the black shirt. It's not one. I have like 10 of them, but it's the same shirt. Because why
yeah,
would I change? I feel good with it. So I'm not
yeah.
going to change my shirt. It's very simple. Simplicity is something great and something it's quite powerful,
Yeah,
right?
again, just less distractions, and then you're brought a bit more into life, a bit more into
Yeah, the
yourself.
distractions. The
You're a bit more
distractions, yes.
you're present, like you said, and that's being in the moment, so you can actually be experiencing and feeling. Like you said earlier,
Yeah,
it's very much a feeling.
yeah, a
Lots of people
feeling.
are thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's not in, it's funny, it's not in brands and stuff because some people are hiding behind brands. Like, oh, I
Yeah,
have this kind of brand clothes or Manchester United. I'm like, we're wearing those t-shirts and like all this group stuff. For me, it's not in there. It is again, it's the opposite. Like, I feel great if I'm not in the group. And you
yeah.
just need to be a little confident. No, you don't need to belong to groups and stuff. You just be unique and that share that with
Ev-
the world. Like,
yeah,
give a
everyone is.
flavor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone is as unique as their fingerprint. They're all individual, and they all
yeah,
have their own uniqueness. They have their own experience, and like you said,
yeah.
and there's a wealth in that experience of value that they can serve others. If they find it, it's like you said, looking for gold, and you don't give up. You if life's hard, if times are hard.
Yeah, I see a diamond in everyone. So I had people coming to me in the movie business like, "Oh, I am fat or I'm small, I can never make it." And I said, "You know what? You have something unique." And we just focus on that. and we try to find what that is. And these people, they have their selling points. There's a famous movie in Thailand. It is
Come back.
the I think it was chocolate movie. It's a fighting movie, martial art movie, and it starts with someone at school looking at a pencil, and then there was something was broken in it, and then
Mm.
the table had also some broken pieces, and it says something like the great thing, the perfect thing is the imperfect things. Like the
Yeah.
imperfect is unique, like there's only one like that, and it was a very beautiful opening of the movie, like
Yeah.
about
Nice.
being imperfect. And that's perfect on its own, being imperfect, and that just people just need to accept that, and do something with it, because it's power. But some people think they will be outcasted, right? They will not be part of it, something, and this can be
Yeah. It's
dangerous, right?
a big fear of loss,
Yeah,
losing
yeah, yeah,
losing things.
yeah. But it can be dangerous. Like even it can also be suicidal. Maybe if people think I'm not part of the group, people don't
Yeah.
accept me. No, use your uniqueness and do something cool, right?
Yeah.
And it's just about confidence. It's easy to say, but when I was young, I was hit by a girl. I was skinny. I was. They said I was the weakest of the school, the
Yeah.
weakest guy. I was the guy they could beat up. And one time, a guy just keep hitting my stomach. In the middle of everyone, keep punching me in the stomach. Everybody was laughing, and I was just standing. I didn't do anything. And sometimes I still think about that moment when I fight. but that
Yeah.
But I just, yeah, I didn't cry as well. I was just standing, and let the guy hit me like for like 5 minutes. And he keep punching me in the stomach. Like 5 minutes, maybe too long, maybe 1 minute, but
It
it
felt
felt
like
like
a long
five
time.
minutes.
Yeah.
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 And it's a kind of this happens to me more in life. Like people try to hit you and stuff.
Yeah. It's
You
kind
kind
of
of
a.
start to get
It's a good.
immune for it.
Yeah. It's a good example, like for your life later, like you said, you to strengthen you to be able to have people that may look at you and judge you and see it as a
Yeah,
funny and laugh,
yeah,
and to have someone attack you, but it didn't break you. It
yeah,
makes you
exactly.
stronger.
But why do they attack? Mostly it's an imbalance in them, and they try to portray on you. Why does someone who feels very good themselves, right, every day, why would they have to attack people, right? They wouldn't do it. So there must
No.
be something wrong with the person, like something they want to achieve over somebody's dead body, some imbalance, or some frustration, or you're just in their way. Like it's always a reason, and
Yeah.
and
And then
and and expect it when you do stuff. It comes, but also good people. Huh? There's because there's a lot of great people in the world, and I love to help them. Like, do you remember this friend we spoke about in the beginning, like the friend with a lot of fantasy,
yeah.
and said that I can play movies. I want to
Yeah.
whisper that in a lot of people's ears. Like I want to be that whisper for them. Like, look, you have talent. If you
Mm.
just keep going, I think you can do something. Huh? You can be really playing movies. I whisper that in a lot of people's ears to give them this, start the fire burning.
Encouragement. Yeah.
Yes,
Encouragement, inspiration,
yes,
and because it's
yes,
important. You noticed how important it was for you. It made the
yes.
difference.
That guy did it for me. So if you can do that for someone else, that is just life itself. That is just great. To give that spark, to not keep only the spark for yourself,
Yeah.
right? And just like this ego thing. It's not about that at all. This ego thing is not even in part of the story. It's almost selflessness in a way. And it
Yeah.
doesn't
This is why
always
I.
look like that, but it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. It's sort of
Yeah,
why I called this the selfish podcast, because it's sort of like selflessness and selfishness and self all in one. Because it's like you're doing it for others, but it's because it really makes you feel good inside. So it's
yeah.
kind of
Wow.
selfish. It makes you don't know which one it is,
Yeah,
but either way, it
yeah.
feels better to give and to give love and compassion than to take. But some
It
people have
is. It
never
does.
experienced it, and it's almost that
Yeah.
selflessness.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's for yourself because it gives you more balance.
Yeah, that's true. And for example, I told a guy like, man, you should play movies, and he came to Thailand and he did it, and his life changed. I'm
Mm,
so happy he did it. Right? I can
yeah,
feel for him. I can feel his enjoyment in it. And else he would be in the office and just like he would not be the talent he could be, right? If he just disappeared in expectations of others,
yeah,
basically. And yeah, so if you can be that person for someone, because what we said it happened to me too, and to you. That would be just great. That's why your podcast is very interesting. I think you're doing more to people than you realize, even. Like we know we're helping people, right? But I think even
Yeah.
more than you might realize, even. I think so.
Yeah, I hope so. This is my wish
Yeah.
that it does more than I could even expect. I don't have expectations for it other than I will be consistent. I will keep
Yeah.
looking for new ways. Like I said, I started on YouTube sharing videos, and then I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do podcast to reach new audience,
Mm-hmm.
new
Mm-hmm.
ways, connect with new people, and just keep reaching, keep putting out. Just keep sharing and connecting, and especially now because everyone's locked down. But in
Oh
my
yeah.
lifetime, I when I was younger, I thought about like